What's up, YouTube? It's the Jack Crypto Guy bringing you a very time-sensitive update. We have the FOMC meeting tomorrow where Powell is going to cut interest rates by 25%. I don't think that we're going to be getting a 50 rate cut or, pausing. I think that a lot of the movement tomorrow is going to come from his language about, whether we're going to be ending quantitative tightening and going into quantitative easing. Now, obviously, Bitcoin is very, very frustrating right now. No one can really say why the price action is the way it is, because obviously we have stocks all-time highs, AI, tech, all-time high, gold and silver kind of taking a cooler, which is to be expected. But it's just really frustrating that this is usually the time where, crypto, Bitcoin, they go crazy. And it's been pretty lackluster, hasn't really moved. It's actually been going down and ranging between 110, 116, kind of, ping-ponging back and forth. We do have a CME gap to fill at around $111,000, which would not be surprised if that gets taken out overnight, or maybe in the price swing of the FOMC. Usually it's very volatile when it comes to the FOMC, so I would not recommend trading this by any means. If you're going to be leveraging, I wouldn't do anything other than very low leverage, and I would wait to not trade within the range, but you would want to either, long the support or short resistance, anything like that. I wouldn't really be getting chopped up in these ranges. I think that this is going to be a very telling meeting. We always joke this is the most important FOMC meeting until the next one, but I really do think this time, depending on what Jerome Powell basically says, is going to dictate the whole, structure and the whole direction of this whole market, equities, stocks, crypto, just the economy in general. And, just like what he says when it comes to the quantitative easing, if he starts hinting at that, I think it's going to be very bullish. Not to mention, shortly after the FOMC meeting is going to conclude, we have huge earnings with, I think, Meta, Google, and I think another stock that's just massive. So, obviously, if we have a very dovish Jerome Powell, good earnings, I don't see any reason why stocks and crypto won't just skyrocket from here. And hopefully it throws us into that full-blown, crypto cycle, altcoin rally. But that all remains to be seen, and I think it's going to be very telling how the price action shakes out. Now, normally when it comes to FOMC, we either have a massive rip right before it or a massive dump. And the first move is not always the general direction. For instance, sometimes, we get an interest rate cut and everyone just longs and the prices go super crazy for about 5 or 10 minutes. Everybody goes long. And then whenever Jerome Powell starts speaking, people tend to start shorting the market and the price goes almost in the, way in the opposite direction because of all that long leverage built up. And so the idea behind the market makers and people that are kind of pulling the strings is they kind of try to liquidate, the most traders. So if everybody's going long, they're going to go and short the market and they're going to liquidate all the long positions and vice versa with the shorts. So big news event. I would not be too worried. I'm going to update you with what I kind of gather from the whole meeting. I'm going to be watching the charts, and as always, going to be updating you with what I think is going to play out in the rest of Q4. However, I do remain bullish. So make sure you subscribe, smash the like button, share this video with a friend, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye.